National Youth Council elections. I am sure all of you are aware and are following the events that are unfolding as far as the National Youth Council elections is concerned. And I'm also very sure that each and every one of you here understands the role of the Ministry of Youth Development vis-a-vis the activities of the Youth Council of Nigeria. And I'm also very much aware, I'm sure, that everybody here present is conversant with the provisions of the Constitution of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, especially as it concerns the conduct of the National Youth Council elections for the state executive members. I'm also very aware that each and every one of us here is also conversant with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which is the ground norm on which every other constitution and external laws rely on. And so with all of this information and knowledge in our disposal, it will be a misnomer if we allow certain infractions, certain circumstances, certain breaches that we have noticed in the process leading to the conduct of the National Youth Council election, which is stated for Wednesday. And as a ministry, I have been inundated with a lot of messages, calls at the initial stage. And as a proactive commissioner who is a very, very grounded, bona fide member of the youth constituency, I swung into action, held several meetings with the State Executive Council led by Comrade Dango, held several meetings with the CPC led by Comrade Xavier Otu, and also held several meetings with the stakeholders, one of which was an official one that held in the conference room of the ministry. But as a lawyer, but because I'm not just your commissioner for youth development, but I'm also a lawyer of no mean repute, I call the attention of those concerned to the various infractions and breaches as raised by both aspirants, stakeholders, and concerned youth across the state, both by phone calls, text messages, and even on social media. But it seems the more I call the attention of those concerned, the more the breaches and infractions kept escalating. It will surprise you that as a Ministry of Youth Development, we have never, and I say underline, never been consulted, we've never been invited, we've never had any correspondence from the Youth Council informing us of even the conduct of the same Youth Council elections. That's how grievous the infractions are. But because I'm now a leader, I need not always pull the sledgehammer just because I want to kill a small ant. Each time I call your attention to this infraction, my advice is always, please retrace your steps. People are watching. Let us not allow the system to be grounded because of this issue, because of these infractions. And each time, both the CPC and the status quo will promise me that, Commissioner, we will do the right thing. In fact, as I speak to you, this is almost like a truth and reconciliation committee. What you're having here, you have to speak the truth to facts. And if I don't lead from the front, then I am not going to achieve much. So we must bear our minds and speak the truth the way it is. And let me tell you something. Even the Bible says the kingdom of God is narrow. Meaning that when you stand on the side of the truth, please don't mind the crowd. As far as you know that what you're doing is the right thing. You don't mind how many people are following you. So I'm not always intimidated by a crowd, whether it is one person, two persons that stand on the side of the truth, and the appointed time they will be vindicated. It has happened not once, not twice. That even the management meeting, which is supposed to be the foundational activity that would have given rise to all other activities, was not properly convened or not convened at all. And like we say in law, you cannot put something on nothing and expect it to stand. And so that is why, as you see it now, it's crumbling like a pack of cards. Apart from that, I have received several petitions. I tried to see how we can handle these petitions in-house. From inception, from consultations to sales of form, petitions about the exorbitant nature of the consultation, petitions about the cost of the form, petitions about the extortion, and the biased nature in which aspirants are being treated. Youth council is supposed to be a platform where every young person should have equal right and opportunity. But if you have a situation where animals are equal, and all animals are equal, some are more equal. Now, what are these some? We are all citizens of Washington State. We all have the constitutional right to vote and be voted for. And we are all members of youth council, for God's sake. So why the selective disposition? Why the selective, sales of form? Why the selective, disposition towards every activity of youth council? We also try to look into that, but as usual, try to call the attention and see how we can resolve that in-house. That did not work. The stakeholders too were not spared of this academical attitude of the State Executive Council and the CPC. I got several calls from stakeholders, both those I know and those I never knew before, except during this period of elections. They will call far away from Abuja, Lagos, even outside Nigeria, expressing their displeasure at the way council is being run. And as a listening commissioner, I process all of this information, and the question I kept asking myself was this: is this the kind of legacy I want to leave as a commissioner for youth development? Is this the kind of legacy we wish to leave for ourselves as youth of Washington State? And the answer was what? No. And so I convened a meeting because I didn't want to start speaking to the stakeholders individually. Through the advice of some close friends, I convened a meeting of the stakeholders. It was a meeting that has never held as far as the history of the Ministry of Development, because comrades met comrades did not sit for about 10 years in that meeting, and I was shocked in this same Calabar. See, the last time I saw you was also the last time I saw you. Meanwhile, this is a community that was supposed to be constantly in touch with each other, even if it is not monthly, quarterly. And we had a lengthy discussion as it concerns the future of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, which is just a chapter. And they made very, very, outstanding resolution, which was to help us restructure the conduct of the elections of youth council. But typical of me, immediately after the meeting, I still called their attention to tell them that even the stakeholders around, to let us address ourselves, invite the stakeholders to join this process and let us have a seamless transition. In that meeting, one of the resolutions was that I should set up a committee to look into the activities of the election and determine whether the election was to continue or, halted. And I felt that as a lawyer, I I should not swing into actions by taking those resolutions to action without bringing those issues again to CPC and the status quo. And I did just that. Because almost all of the resolutions which they told me in confidence that they would take deliberate steps to redress was still left the way they were at publication. And the process dragged on. It got to sales of forms. I got several complaints about the biased nature that was applied in the sales of forms. As we speak, several young constituents, members of the council who are desirous of taking part in the elections were intentionally and deliberately aligned and disfranchised. I can never contest any election in the council today. So my interest in the council is advisory. I don't have any vested interest apart from the interest which already as a lawyer has been spelled out in the constitution of the youth council, which I am very, very conversant with the provisions guiding our relationship. And let me also inform that my position today, as far as the Forum of Commissioners for Youth in Sport Nigeria, gives me a very advantageous position to be able to analyze the issues bordering on the relationship between youth council and the ministry. I am the national legal advisor of the Forum of Commissioners for Youth and Sport in the entire Nigeria. And that office, I'm saddled with the responsibility of coming out with modalities, legal framework, which will henceforth guide the relationship between the youth council and the Ministry of Youth and Sport, and by extension, the Commissioner for Youth and Sport. And my colleagues, my 30 other colleagues that are depending on me to come up with a document that will lay to rest the friction between youth council and the mother ministry and commission. And yet, I'm in my state, I'm directly faced with the same issue that I'm saddled with the responsibility of resolving it for the entire country. What a shame! What a shame! And when I spoke to the Minister for Youth, he said, yes, we're now looking at you. If you can resolve the one in your state, they will know whether to retain you as a legal advisor or not. Just when I was about to brief the governor on happenings, I got petitions from the legal community. In fact, lawyers who knew me were calling me, Leonard, what is happening? I've just been briefed. When this one dropped this question, I've just been briefed. Well, I'm calling because your ministry is joined our colleague. So it would be nice to just go to court against you without giving you this information so that you can see if you can address it before we go to court. And I'm like, sorry, at this stage, I think I'll advise you to take your client's brief seriously and do the needful. And long after that, the court papers started dropping, the petitions started dropping, and as we speak to you, there's even an injunction order hanging over our head as far as the conduct of the National Council election is concerned. And as a law-abiding citizen, and as a legal personality, I would not be the one to flout or disregard any court order, no matter where it is coming from, who is behind it, and the motive behind the injunction. As if that was not enough, I was invited on the DSS because of the issue of the security surrounding the elections. And as we speak, the state security advisor has already issued a statement given us their security advice. The same people we want to depend on to give us security for the elections itself, and now say we cannot guarantee you what security. Will it still be advisable for us to take our youth out to the streets, to the stadium, to anywhere to conduct an election, when it comes to elections? God forbid. And so, having processed all of these issues, having processed the circumstance we find ourselves, there's only been one option left for the ministry, the supervisory ministry, and that option is to extend or postpone the conduct of the Newcastle election, which was slated for Wednesday this week, to a date that will be determined by all the major parties or the major interests concerned in this election. And as I speak, the DSS, the police, and all other security agencies have indicated interest to be part and parcel of the process, beginning from when we resume activities, so that they will also have first-hand information on how the activities are being. This note, I, the Commissioner for Youth Development, Cross-River State, the Supervisory Ministry over the National Youth Council of Nigeria, having considered all of the issues before me, which at this stage cannot be said to be mere presumptions or hearsay, having had opportunity to have in my possession documents with far-reaching consequences if these elections go on. I therefore stand here to declare that the elections of the National Youth Council of Nigeria is hereby postponed to a later date. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your cooperation. For all the inconveniences this postponement will cost them. I know they have spent money, sleepless nights, doing consultation across the 3 sectoral districts. But the truth is, we will not allow our personal sentiments and emotions to guide our activities as far as the Newcastle elections is concerned. And so we're taking this action in good faith, believing that when the transition resumes, a lot of the anomalies, a lot of the breaches and infractions will take deliberate and intentional steps to correct them. And so on this note, I want to end by saying that just like I've earned your confidence and support as your Commissioner for Youth Development, I once again seek for your support and cooperation as we try our best to move the Youth Council of Nigeria to the next level. Thank you very much and God bless. Build the youth! Build the youth! Build the nation! Thank you and God bless you.
Commissioner, you have done very well. You have demonstrated the spirit of leadership, not just leadership, an uncommon one in that matter. So I applaud you We have a platform, the Youth Council platform, which most of us has laboriously contributed our quota to ensure that it remains a leadership training platform for young people in our state. For some time now, there have been issues where procedures are undermined because of selfish interest. When you are given responsibility, you are holding an office in trust for the people. You must give accounts to the people. Like you say, you can't put something on nothing and expect it to stand. From the onset, even before we had a stakeholders meeting earlier in your office, some couple of weeks ago, we complained that at initial, the constitution of the Central Planning Committee was faulty. So, to my greatest chagrin, I watched some players doing what they were not supposed to do. The Congress Planning Committee, as it is, CPC, is to plan the Congress, not to sell forms, not to screen candidates. If they do all of that, they will meet at the Congress, what would the LA do? So it was an aberration, and we spoke strongly against that. All of these, the younger generations are watching. They must learn from us. We expect that at this point where the current expo is winding down, they should be giving us account of their stewardship. Having held various positions for 4 years now. They were the first expo to enjoy that leadership for 4 years. It used to be 3 years until the constitution was reviewed and increased the years of service to 4 years. So they are very privileged. We look up to them as a leader. So please, we ensure that the right thing is done henceforth. I want to enjoin all of you to keep faith with the commissioner, who is doing very well in the ministry, oversee the activities of the Youth Council, and pray that moving forward, the right thing will be done. Thank you for Thank you.
All the youth appointees on the high table, I respect you all. Stakeholders, our youth here represented from all senatorial districts, and VIOs, and all other protocols and rules. Actually, I want to sincerely and heartily say thank you to our Honorable Commissioner for having a listening ear to make sure that the right thing is done, so that the youth that are coming up and others that are watching will know that there are protocols and due process to follow, in as much as issues of youth council is concerned in our state. So this note, I want to urge everyone who has been here, who have listened keenly to what he has said and has said. I think he never left any stone untouched. So there is no need for us to go to elaborate on any other issue. I want to say we should all obey protocols and put our ears on ground whenever election is being called on, or whenever the commissioner deems it fit to retrace and see how proceedings for due process on how election will be conducted in this state. I want to pledge and beg that we obey and do as we are asked to. The use of Cross State, just as we all know, the council has been a training ground. When we all started, today you have seen a lot of us sitting here. We never jumped into leadership. We all started from the cradle, which is this structure. So we couldn't have just sat in our own houses to see what we suffered for during our youth. Some of us had no youth. We spent all our time to build this structure, to re-establish and to constitute this structure. I think others that are listening to me know what we went through. Our personal cost, there was no ministry. were using our personal pockets full money to see that this structure comes to play. And today, most of you are enjoying it in the Plaza of Hope. And the slogan that is saying here that maintain the elders, it is a good thing that that slogan is being reviewed. Because we find out that some of us that spend our time and money and youth to build this structure, people see you on the road, don't even greet you, don't even. And I want to thank Commissioner, just like he said in the other stakeholder meeting, that if he does not do the right thing, means tomorrow, he also will be a victim of not maintaining him as an elder. So on this note, I want to humbly beg that whenever issues on youth council is concerned, Commissioner will do respect. Let the gender issue also be included, because it has always been our issue. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you. Put your hands together for Honorable Josephine Ekwan.
Be able to come in and put things in place. And I pray that God will continue to guide you and give you that direction. I want to say that the new council, as you mentioned, has been operating, preaching the Constitution, and full of illegalities. And with this, you will see it that with what you see on your table, you go to most of those documents, you will see the word signed by Honorable Rebel and the seal of the BYO being the among the documents sent to you, petitions given to you. I want to say this, that coming out to handle this particular process holistically, the BYOs are very happy about it. And one thing I want to tell you is this, that BYO is one of the elements in the youth council that used to be used to track the efforts of the election. And by this, if you have to go back again in the ministry to look at the BYO list very, very well. Because when we have that body BYO, it is the heads of the organization who have the right to send in delegates for this election. The unity you see and having as a chairman was just to call the BYO together and say that we come in as one body to work the unions. And I want to tell you, in the last election, that a lot of things happened. So the list of the BYO needs to be scrutinized holistically. Thank you very much.
In my submission, I fail to point out that the extension of this election does not in any way affect the tenure of the current State Executive Council. I'm saying this because the election has been cut off by what we call doctrine of necessity. But that does not extend to the State Executive Council, because I do not have the power to extend the tenure of even by 1 day.
Remember, we said the form for you council is going to be free of charge. Mr. Commissioner, sir, make a declaration so that we return back money to us. Those of us that bought the form. Thank you, sir. Because the national chairman have told us that, and we're going to stand by that statement. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Commissioner, sir.
I presume that it's still in the realm of speculation and presumptions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, Honorable Commissioner, for your development.
And I think it's also important that we toe the path of legality and law. It is clear that as a state committee, we may not know it all. And that's the essence of leadership. Leadership is supposed to be a two-way thing. As much as you are leading, you must also have a sight to be advised. Because you are a leader does not make you automatic brain to everything, because we need to learn. And I think for us, as ESCO, we may have made some mistakes, and it is important that we correct them for future leaders, for the future of the Youth Council. Sir, I stand with you. I believe that the process that we're doing has some inches, and therefore we must resolve one as youth in order to remain one. We don't want to have a state whereby Youth Council will be the essence at which we are battling left, right, center. So therefore, as an ESCO, I'm standing that as long as the injunction, I just saw the injunction while I was coming in, and I think it is unfair to disobey the rules of law. And I also saw the communication from the national president forwarded directly to my phone. We may have gotten it wrong, but I believe we must also have Commissioner sir, the process must be done together for us to have these results. And I stand with it, but please, as much as this decision has been taken, that does not mean that we have thrown away the other ones. We need to manage the process, because I know what the aspirants have gone through. If we go start this process all over again, it will be very cumbersome on our fellow young youths. The process, the ones that are out of line, we can correct them. The ones that are in line, I'm aware the DSS and the police, the screening committee personally wrote to them and also invited them to come and witness the process of the screening, even attaching the timetable and the venue. And only the DSS called us to know the venue and did a follow-up, but we never got any information from the police. So therefore, we stand with what you're doing, but as my brother too has rightly advised, let it not be too long. Two, it's also important that the management meeting be held in Youth Council to normalize all that have been discussed today and also have a pathway and directive. Whatever we have said today is standing, but the truth is that for it to have an effect and have weight, the management meeting will be brought to play. Thank you very much, sir.
It is God himself that has spoken to the commission, because I had a dream that if the election that we are going to come up on the 19th, if you allow that election to take place, it's like building a house in a very poor foundation. What is right is right. What is wrong is wrong. For a man to be responsible, he should be able to identify between what is right and what is wrong. And what the commissioner has done and the security advisor has done is the right thing, because you are looking at the peaceful coexistence of the Union of States. And I'm very sure you are going to do the needful. The CPC committee and other committees that are who run to this election, they are here and they have listened to you. The one that is not right, we are going to do justice to it. We are going to do justice to the legislature, so that anytime we are going to do the election, the property will be done and the youth of God's state will be done. Thank you very much.
The aspirant and the youth will always stand for what is right and for what is just. So whatever is being right, whatever is being done right or tried or in the process of amending the system to be right, I'm very sure that every aspirant and even the youth to stand for justice and fairness. And this is our position. Am I speaking? Build the youth. The name is somewhere, the man will touch you know. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And I'm calling for the position of the state deputy chairman, NYC Legal Pastor.
I give you the spirit of oneness. I want to use this opportunity first to thank His Excellency, Distinguished Senator, Prince Basi and the two, for having found worthy in one of us to appoint him as the commissioner of this very wonderful ministry, to be charged all the activities of the youth. When the youth are not together, they can never be governors. Therefore, that vision was the one that God created for him to be appointed. And today I'm happy to be proud to say this, that this is the first time we have gotten it correct, that we will have a youth who is a commissioner, who is not arrogant, who is not stubborn, who can take on, reply messages. We both just left at the Airport where His Excellency is carrying out breaking of ground of new rule at the Airport, just for it to be part of this constituency. I want to thank you for the cooperation we are giving to our barrister. But one thing I want us to quickly remember that as a community, we are not going to pay a costly visit for solidarity as we did for others, for our brother. Dr. Texas says, thank you for this one they are giving to us. And I know, arising from here, we will do that. Because we cannot either that society's work is due. And because His Excellency is centered on people's first, and that's why the commissioner are key. The people position matters, not individual. And when the people say this cannot work, it means that it's a total rejection. Therefore, we want to thank you for the time spent this morning. We would have been here much earlier, but just for the reason I just mentioned, we have to need His Excellency to come here and be part of this process, and to ensure that there are no significant to any life of our people here. I will say so, we want us to abide with all the submissions as raised here, devoid of any affiliation, devoid of whether from center, devoid whether the person is my friend, but for the unity of the youth council to forge ahead. It's a collective position of our people that gather here from central, south, and the northern central district. We are coming here to give a voice and a position that never again our collective will be trampled, will be taken for granted. As Hashem was quoting, there is an error for the error to sit in the market square and watch the sheep go down to the state, struggling to put to bed. He says it's an error. It is that we come here to decouple. That there is a new hope under position. There is a new direction. The way of sentiment, whether you have money or connection or not, let the best emerge. And the process will be destroyed. With the provision and the tenet of the new council constitution. I just want to thank you for being with us here, and we continue to be together. Serenity, solidarity, forward, backward, and we can continue. We the nation. Thank you.
Thank you. Put your hands together.
to ensure that the Youth Council breathes a fresh breath of air. And I want to tell you here that posterity will be kind to all of us for standing for the truth, for standing on the path of equity, justice, and fairness. And let me tell you something that is very, very instructive. We might be very, very few, but please go through the history books. Every revolution starts with just a few number of persons. Because a dream or a vision must first be birthed by an individual. We have Martin Luther King, we have Nelson Mandela, and coming back home here, we have MKO Abiola. Today we enjoy a democracy where we all pride ourselves as appointees, both elective and every other office. But yet, one man gave his life for us to have the democracy that we have today. I'm sure if he was looking at how many persons were behind him, or how many persons were going to go all along with him, he would have lost faith with the process. He would have lost faith with his vision. Not to talk about Martin Luther King, who said he had a dream. He had a dream. He never said we had a dream. He said he had a dream, and he was ready to lay down his life for that dream. Today, America is a free nation for both blacks and white because of the dream of a single individual. Nelson Mandela spent several years in prison because he had a vision for South Africa. While he was in prison, he didn't count a crowd. While he was in prison, he didn't have so many persons wallow in that suffering. But he stayed on because he had a dream, he had a vision. And today, here we are. We're even more than 20. We are more than 50. So we can probably say we have a dream. Not I have a dream. We have a dream. We have a vision. And that vision is to let Nigeria, National Youth Council of Nigeria breathe. So the hashtag from now henceforth is Let Nigerian Youth Council of Nigeria breathe. I've already posted that on my handle on Facebook and Instagram. That is the hashtag going forward because the Youth Council must breathe the breath of fresh air. Thank you once again. I bring you greetings from His Excellency, the most youth-friendly and passionate governor, the People's First Governor, who has graciously approved the budget for these elections. Let me inform. So as we speak, there is no impediment as far as finance is concerned, as far as this election is concerned. But we will not spend that money for a process that is already completely, laden with so much encumbrance, both legally, morally, and otherwise. And His Excellency will be happy to know that we have a youth constituency that is alert to their right. Because our governor is a man who stands and fights for his right. And so, as we live here today, let us live here with one conviction. Because when you live here, I know a lot of calls will be put to you to disassociate yourself from this meeting. It's always the case with meetings like this. But please, let your conscience be your judge and be your guide. Thank you once again, and God bless us. And I wish all of us joining us back to our various destinations. We will be communicating to you in the soonest possible time. Like the state school rep said, the elections will be conducted in the most shortest possible time. I can assure you of that, because we don't want any vacuum in governance as far as the Youth Council is concerned. And let me also say that by this pronouncement, every act done or purported to be done by the current ESCO ceases to exist at the affliction of their tenure whenever this arises. Thank you very much.